Okay, here I am, part two, and we're going to talk just what I promised you. William Henry Harrison. He is going to be the 10th president of the United States. Does that name sound familiar? Well, it should sound familiar. He's the one that fought Tecumseh in Ohio Territory. You remember that? Yes, he did. 1813, he was fighting Tecumseh. All right, so let's go and learn a little bit about Henry Harrison. William Henry Harrison. What do I say? Henry? No, this can't be Henry. It's William Henry Harrison. It's a mouthful. Even for old Zeke is. Okay? Now, I don't know if you're a fan of Henry Harrison or not, but William Henry Harrison was an American military officer and a politician. And a politician. He was the ninth president of the United States. Did I say 10? No, he's 9 because let me think. Jackson was 7. Martin Van Buren was 8. I skipped a number. 9 is William Henry Harrison. I'm going to tell you why I skipped it. Because something happens to this man like that. He wasn't president very long. It's almost like you skip right past him. So let's go back to this again. All right. Now, William Henry Harrison, like I said, he was an American military man and a politician. And the oldest president to be elected at that time he was, okay, on his 32nd day as being president, he became the first president to die in office. No, he wasn't shot. No, he wasn't. He served the shortest time as president in all of president history, in all the presidency. We got 45 presidents. He served the shortest time. He would not be the oldest one. Eventually, we would have older ones than that. So, in the campaign against the Indians, Harrison served as aide-de-camp to General Mad Anthony Wayne. Remember Mad Anthony Wayne? And he wasn't mad because he was angry. They said he was mad because he was, you know, not playing with full deck cards sometimes. Oh, maybe he was. He was pretty clever. He was at the Battle of Fallen Timbers, which opened most of the Ohio area to settlements. Battle of Fallen Timbers. Now, after resigning from the Army in 1798, he became Secretary of the Northwest Territory. It was his first delegate to Congress. That was his first delegate to Congress. And helped to obtain legislation dividing the territory into the Northwest and Indiana territories. Get all that? Wow, that was a mouthful right there. In 1801, he became governor of the Indiana Territory, serving 12 years doing that. 12 years he was governor of the Indiana Territory. Well, isn't that impressive? Maybe. His prime task as governor, though, was to obtain title to all Indian lands so settlers could press forward into the wilderness. Well, what was he going to do? Pay him to leave? I don't think so. When the Indians retaliated, isn't that something? They say they retaliated when they stood their ground against the governor and his men. Harrison was responsible for defending the settlements. Now listen here. Somebody's attacking your home. What you going to do? Are you going to run? Or are you going to stay and fight? Well, some people do run. A lot of people do stay and fight. Yes, they do. But you have the U.S. military, and they're coming after your home. Those Native Americans that are going to stand and fight. Lots of them are. And you know who tried to start that whole confederacy there? Tecumseh. Yes, he did. He tried to get all them Native American tribes together, those nations, fight, stay as one. Almost worked. Almost. But a couple things complicated. The first thing that complicated, William Henry Harrison. The second thing would be the prophet. Remember his brother? He messed it up for everybody there. Yes, he did. He just didn't listen. Didn't listen to orders. Didn't listen to instructions. And when you don't listen to instructions, sometimes you do the wrong thing. Anyway, we won't go backwards. We're going forwards here. The threat against settlers became serious in 1809, and an eloquent and energetic Tecumseh, keep bringing his name up, right? With his religious shaman brother, Tenskwatawa, which they called the prophet, began to strengthen Indian Confederation to prevent any more settlers from coming out there. It was a good plan. It was a real good plan. Now, in 1811, Harrison received permission to attack this Confederacy. From who? The U.S. government. The President of the United States. The President? Yes. We needed that land, they said. And no matter what it's going to take, we're going to get it. Because we're not going to have those Native Americans killing our settlers. That's our land. We purchased it. We made deals with it. Men died to get that land. To the victor go the spoils. Remember that? To the victor go the spoils. So you might be on the Indian side. You might be on the American side. It's just a fight to the finish is what it is. And every civilized or non-civilized people have done this since the beginning of time. They fought for what they wanted. And those that win, get it. And those that don't win, well, if they don't die, they have to move on. Or try to assimilate to the new government. There's a lot of truth in all that. So, while Tecumseh was away seeking more allies, his brother, the prophet, was told, do not provoke Harrison. Do not provoke him. But he did anyway. He sent a couple men to try to kill him. That's all Harrison needed. And he led about 1,000 men towards Prophetstown, which was in what we call today Indiana, in Indiana Territory. Suddenly, before dawn, November 7th, the Indians attacked. Yes, they did. The Indians attacked this camp on the Tippecanoe River. After heavy fighting, Harrison repulsed them, suffered 190 dead and wounded. But when they attacked Prophetstown then, there was nothing left. A lot of them moved on, got their lives saved, but everybody that was left in that camp, this is the other side of the story, was dead. Was dead. So there was heavy fighting there. Battle of Tippecanoe, they called it. Battle of Tippecanoe. Harrison attacked Prophetstown. It wasn't the Indians attacked him. He attacked Prophetstown. The Indians just stood their ground, hoping the other ones would get away. Killed a lot of people. I'm talking not just braves, women, any children that were there, they were all massacred. They were killed. But he would run on that for a long time, that he was the hero of the Battle of Tippecanoe. You need to look at all that stuff up. Old Zeke don't have time to tell you everything with that. Now, the Battle of Tippecanoe, which Harrison's fame was to rest on, disrupted Tecumseh's Confederacy quite a bit. And his Confederacy still lived on for a while, but the raids stopped a lot. By the spring of 1812, they were again terrorizing the frontier. Yes, they were. They were terrorizing the frontier again, and they were starting to get help from guess who? The British. Now, we're going backwards a little bit, but I'm just kind of refreshing you a little bit. The British were helping them. The British were helping them, okay? Giving them guns, weapons, whatever they needed. In the War of 1812, Harrison won more military honors when he was given the command of the Army of the North in the Northwest with the rank of Brigadier General. Brigadier General. It's not top general. Actually, one of the lower generals. But still, it's a general. At the Battle of the Thames. Battle of Thames now. North of Lake Erie. There goes one of them big carriages. On October 5th, 1813, he defeated the combined British and Indian forces led by Tecumseh. Tecumseh was killed. The Indians scattered, never again to offer serious resistance in what we call the Northwest Territory. They moved on. Hmm. Well, that was a story we already heard before. While given this time, William Henry Harrison is going to run for president. And you ought to hear what they use as his slogans. Now, before the Panic of 1837, Americans saw the Whig Party as the party of the rich. Party of the rich. The Whigs wanted to change that image, and with the economic crisis that was spread, remember the Panic of 1837, the Whigs searched in the late 1830s to find a candidate who would appeal to the common people. Guess who they found? William Henry Harrison. William Henry Harrison. Why? Well, in 1839, they chose him because he was the hero of the Battle of Tippecanoe. How about that? And many other battles. I mean, he won the Battle of Thames, too. But that Battle of Tippecanoe, as they said, was broke the Indians' back. And they thought everybody could relate to that. Now, Harrison came from a very well-to-do family in Virginia. He enjoyed a good education, and he lived in a 16-room mansion on 3,000 acres. You think he's ever wanted for something? No, he wasn't. No. He had everything he wanted, ever wanted. Most Americans had no way of knowing about Harrison's background. They didn't know who this man was. They knew he was a general. They knew he was a hero of all these different battles, but they didn't know where he come from. There wasn't no TV or radios or anything out there like that. Word of mouth, that's all. So the Whigs bombarded the nation with advertisements. Well, what kind of advertisements? They presented Harrison as a humble Ohio farmer that was born in a log cabin. That ain't even close. That's more like what Zeke went through. I could be elected president for that. He wasn't born in no log cabin, and he wasn't from Ohio. He just fought in Ohio. Now, you know, the first president born in a log cabin was Andrew Jackson. But it sure wasn't William Henry Harrison. The Whigs used this log cabin idea as a symbol of the 1840 campaign. It was a symbol. The Whigs wanted them to see that he was somebody that wasn't rich. He was just like they were, but he wasn't like they were. He wasn't. No, he wasn't. They also selected a man named John Tyler from Virginia, as Harrison's running mate. John Tyler. So you had old Tippecanoe himself and Tyler too. That would be the new slogan. Tippecanoe and Tyler too. And they even had a song to go with it. You check out some of the things I sent you, and you're going to hear that there song. Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Ain't that something? Now, that was one heck of a goose that just honked at me. Hope they're not getting too close. Give me the willies. Now, the Whigs took over the campaign on the road. They went on the road. They were talking all up about Harrison and Tyler. Matter of fact, they held parades and rallies, and they did something very strange. So listen here. They had a big ball that was made. It was about 4 foot by 4 foot. That's a pretty good sized ball. That's big. Made out of leather. I don't know if it's blown up with air or just filled up with something inside. But they would roll that ball down these back roads and into towns. And they had a band playing and they had people following it. Now you can imagine just sitting on the front porch and seeing this parade going down on the old dirt road. Band is playing and your neighbors are following along. Well, what's going on? And they said, come on, Zeke, come on. We're going to town. We're rolling this ball into town. Why do I want to be rolling no ball into town? Because in town, there's going to be a barbecue and free food. That's why. Free food and drinks. Well, guess what? Old Zeke's there. Yes, I am. So I joined. I joined up. I walked with him. And they rolled this ball into town. And then they would have somebody speak. It probably wasn't Harrison. It probably wasn't Tyler. One of their representatives. Maybe it would be them, but more or less one of their representatives talk all about Harrison and Tyler and how they are the best ones to help you run this country. It went over like gangbusters. I believe they made 4 of those big balls, and there's one that still exists. Still does. Look it up. That's where they get the idea of let's keep this ball rolling. Let's keep this ball rolling. You understand? As long as that ball was rolling, the campaign was on. It worked. It really did. It really did work. All right. So what happens? Well, in 1840, a huge voter turnout. They weren't write-in votes neither, folks. We don't want those write-in ballots. I want somebody to be in front of me and check the box. They came out and they were checking boxes. And guess who they were checking for? William Henry Harrison and John Tyler. Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Well, Harrison had a sweeping victory. He walked away with 234 electoral votes compared to only 60 for guess who? Martin Van Buren, still running as a Democrat. So flip-flopped again, flip-flopped again. So we had a Democrat in the office. Now we got a Whig in the office. Well, we'll see if he does any better. Now, Harrison had little time for this. Because listen here what happened. Every president gives an inaugural speech. Okay? And the day he was giving his inaugural speech, in March, it was cold outside. It was rainy outside. He didn't have no umbrella. He didn't have his gloves on. He had no top hat on. And he gave one of the longest speeches in president history. Longest speeches. Almost 2 hours. An hour and 45 minutes, I believe it was. Now listen here. March 4th, 1841. The weather was not good. He didn't have his hat, like I said, didn't have an overcoat on, and delivered the longest speech, 8,444 words. Wow. Even after his friend Daniel Webster cut it back a little bit, it was longer than that. What did he have to say? Must have had a lot to say. Can you imagine if old Zeke was giving an inaugural speech? I just might go from one story to the next. But it was time to cut things short. He didn't do it. Well, he didn't stop there. He decided to ride through the streets in a carriage, waving at everybody. And the carriage was an open carriage. His inaugural parade. An open carriage. He got wet a lot. He got wet a lot. He got sick. He got pneumonia, probably got strep. I don't think they really knew what it was back then. But he's laying on his deathbed a month later, April 4th, 1841. Here's what happens. His last words were to his doctor, assumed to be to John Tyler. But listen to what he says. Now, I don't know if this is really his last words or not. This is what some of the books tell us, because everybody wasn't there. But he says, "Sir, I wish you to understand the true principles of government. I wish them carried out, and I ask for nothing more." Now, that's the last thing you want to say on this here earth. You're worried about government? I'm telling you right now, that's not going to be the last thing that's on my mind, is government or money or anything else like that. Harrison served the shortest term of any American president. Shortest term. How about that? So guess what? Some say that Tecumseh put a curse on him. Whatever goes around comes around. You heard me say that before. Did he put a curse on him? Well, I don't know. Maybe some of his people put a curse on him. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. Anyway, Tyler's going to become president. But now listen here. Now, Harrison was the 9th president of the United States. His grandson would be the 23rd president of the United States. When he gave his inaugural speech, he had gloves on, he had a hat on, he made sure his carriage was covered up, and his speech was half as long as his grandpappy's. Half as long. William Henry Harrison holds the record for the longest speech, by the way. Amazing. The longest speech in the shortest term. Maybe old Tecumseh did give him a curse. You look that up. We'll see what that's all about. So Harrison's death puts John Tyler in the presidency. First time now that a vice president has become president because of the president dying in office. It will happen many more times. Yes, it will. We have presidents that have been assassinated. We've had presidents that died in office from ailments. And the vice president has to take over. We even had a president that resigned, and the vice president had to take over. He's second in line, folks. Vice president is second in line. Just think about that. So Tyler, being the first vice president to become president now, number 10. He is president number 10. Does that count? Yes, it does count. Absolutely does count. We've had 6 other vice presidents taken over as president because of the same kinds of opportunities, I should say. Serving in the House of Representatives from 1816 to 1821, Tyler voted against most nationalist legislation and opposed the Missouri Compromise of 1820. He opposed it. After leaving the House, he served as governor of Virginia. John Tyler was governor of Virginia. As a senator, he reluctantly supported Jackson for president. Reluctantly. Yes, he did. But he did support him as a choice of the difference between two evils. How about that? Tyler soon joined what they called the States' Rights Southerners in Congress, who banded with Henry Clay, Daniel Webster, and their newly formed Whig Party opposing President Jackson. Now, that's a strange bunch of fellows right there. You got states' rights people that are joining with people that just are haters of the president and their only goal is to get the president out of office. How about that? Sound familiar? It should sound familiar because it's still happening. It still happens. Isn't that something? Even enemies can be friends when they have the most common enemy. Well, it didn't happen, did it? Jackson was too clever for him, and he stayed in office for 2 terms. And he still had influence even after that with Martin Van Buren. So old Henry Clay just could not win the game, folks. He just could not win the game, no matter what, because Jackson was just too tough for him. So the Whigs would nominate Tyler for vice president in 1840. You know that. Hoping for support of Southern states' rights voters who could not stomach the Jacksonian democracy. So they're using them. It still happens today. It still happens today. The slogan Tippecanoe and Tyler too implied flag-waving nationalism plus a dash of Southern sectionalism. Would they support states' rights if he ever got an office then? So now listen to this here. Tyler was a vice president, but he supported states' rights. Wow. He supported states' rights. He was under Harrison, though, not Jackson, because you know what happened when John C. Calhoun supported states' rights and he was vice president with Jackson. He was out. They were Democrats. So now we have the Whig Party supporting states' rights. That's Republicans, folks. That's Republicans. They're only doing it to get votes. Suddenly, President Harrison was dead, and Tyler was in the White House as president. Now, at first, the Whigs were not too disturbed because although Tyler insisted upon assuming the full powers of a duly elected president, he even delivered an inaugural address. Well, he was president, so why not? But it seemed full of good Whig doctrine, good things they wanted to hear. Tyler was ready to compromise on this banking question. But Clay would not budge. Not budge. He would not accept Tyler's system that he had going. Tyler vetoed Clay's bill to establish a national bank. This was the big deal. Remember, Clay kept trying to push that bank thing on Jackson. Jackson voted down. Well, so did Tyler. He voted it down too. Because Clay wanted a national bank with branches in several states. That's kind of like having a national bank with some pet banks, sort of. Similar bank bill was passed by Congress, but again, on states' rights ground. Tyler vetoed it. He vetoed it, shot it down. So, the Whigs don't get what they really want, do they? No, they don't. But Tyler's supposed to be their man. Well, they only used him, remember, to get them Southern votes. In retaliation, the Whigs expelled Tyler from their party. Now, this is a big thing, listen here, because something's going to happen. Something's going to happen in the future, and it all maybe really starts right here. You think about it. All the cabinet resigned but Secretary of State Webster. They all resigned. All the cabinet resigned when they told Tyler to leave their party. A year later, when Tyler vetoed a tariff bill, the first impeachment resolution against the president was introduced in the House of Representatives. So, Andrew Johnson was the first one actually got impeached. We go back to Tyler. That was the first time somebody was actually using that impeachment clause. I didn't get impeached. No, he didn't. Because a committee headed by Representative John Quincy Adams. He was a big Whig. He was a Federalist, okay? Reported that the president had misused the veto power, but the resolution failed. So John Quincy Adams, back on the horse again. He said that Tyler had misused the veto power, doing whatever he could do to get this guy impeached. Wow. People will go to all kinds of extravagant things to make somebody look bad, especially a president. And they'll make things up if they have to. But guess what? The resolution failed. He didn't get impeached. They didn't even start any impeachment hearings at all. So that's how John Tyler ended. When the southern states seceded in 1861, Tyler led a compromise movement. Failing, he worked to create the Southern Confederacy. He died in 1862. The war had already started. That war of Northern Aggression already had started in 1861. But when he died in 1862, he was a member of the Confederate House of Representatives. He was fighting for the Confederacy. Yes, he was. But he was a president of the United States. He was. He was vice president also. And now he's in the House of Representatives for the Confederacy of the United States. That's a new country, you know. Yes, it is. It's a new country. Can you imagine that? Here's the funny thing about this whole thing. The Whig Party would later become the Republican Party. Now remember, they supported states' rights when they put Tyler in as vice president. And then they tried to use it against him to get him out. And it was the Republican Party that came against states' rights in 1861. Isn't that a turn of events? So people kind of use each other to get what they want, don't they? Yes, they do. That's not right. It's not right. Now, we're going to be going on to something else in a little bit. And the next thing we're going to talk about is this: manifest destiny. Manifest destiny. I'm not going to tell you what it means right now because we're going to go and talk. We're going to be talking about it. So we're going to be talking about manifest destiny, but this is basically the end of the Jacksonian era. Why did it take so long? We went through a couple presidents because Jackson still had influence in some of these people. Even after he would die, these people still carried on Jackson's thoughts on things. And I can see that today. I can see that today in some ways. Yes, I can. So you may not know how much influence you have over somebody and how much your ideas they will accept. Hopefully they're good ideas. And one good idea is this: be kind to people. Don't use people to your advantage. Be kind to people. You know, you don't like to be used, do you? I know old Zeke don't like to be used. I'm my own man. I really am. And a lot of you that know me, you know I am. Mr. Johnson knows I am. All of us cousins, we're all about the same. We like to take things nice and slow. We like to think things out. And we don't like people telling us that we have to do something that we don't want to do. I can figure that out for myself. So I try to be as kind to people as possible. And I'll go to great lengths to do that. And I want y'all to try that too. Will you do that for me? And what's one thing I always tell you? Those people out there that you love and you know that love you, I want you to tell them today that you love them. Do that for me, will you? Because there's no greater power than love out there. Wow, that was a noisy carriage right there. People that you love, please do this today. Tell them that you love them. And come back because we're going to be talking about manifest destiny Goes from here all the way out to them parts they call Texas, California. That's a long trip, folks. Come on back and we'll talk about it. Okay? See y'all later.